If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration. Jeez. It is August the 2nd, 2023, and today the topic is discernment. Yes, y'all, your girl's going to be talking about discernment today. I hope you all had a wonderful day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Yeah, mine was good overall, y'all. Not too much that I did. Just had several conversations, things of that nature. Using my gifts, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully to encourage and inspire the people, you know. I also had a little time with NJ yesterday as well, where we just kind of sat down on the rug and played. Like, he had a moment where he did something that messed up the TV. I don't know what he did. And then he just started crying and boo-hooing about it. And I'm like, son, you're not finna cry over the TV right now just because you can't watch the YouTube Kids, whatever the case is. Like, you know, that ain't nothing to cry about, or whatever. And so I just took him to his room and was like, let's play. And I just, started to build little things with them. And next thing I know, we're building a city. And then at some point, I got in his tent because he's like, oh, I want to do something, and so I got in the tent and waited for him to get done. And then when I came out, basically he had all his cars lined up he has this, we call it the city rug. So it looks like a little city. And he had the cars lined up on the roads, right? It wasn't like spread out crazy or nothing. He had the cars lined up on all the roads. He had the train on the tracks. And, yeah, he even had his little helicopters on the side. I was like, okay, that must be the airport over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the kid, I mean, of course I had to act like it was the best thing I ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, you built this city. You got the cars lined up, letting him know I was noticing all the things. But, and then, just the little pride on his face, the little happiness, to get that confirmation, right? It's always a beautiful thing. So, and then at some point we were cleaning up, and I think we were being a little too loud with our cleanup process. So I was like, let's get away from the door so Papa won't say we're too loud. But yeah, that was a cute moment yesterday as well. Yeah, that's all I feel led to at least share with you guys about what happened yesterday. But I will say that perhaps some of the stuff that I'm not sharing is part of the inspiration for today. And everything like that. Again, I'm not sure how many details I'm going to get into, again, what's happened and whatnot. But just a general observation is that, unfortunately, right, exploitation is a real issue in the world. And unfortunately, one of the downsides of it is that it's just going to always be there, whether, again, it's huge as human trafficking, which is in many forms, right? It's not just sexual abuse and things of that nature. It can be like people using other people in any regard, right? And things like that, or trying to exploit people and things of that nature as well. And I guess, my inspiration this morning is, looking more into these things. I'm also been kind of testing my heart and spirit about certain issues and things as well. Because I'm like, I want to remain humble and understand that, obviously I have areas and things to grow in as well. But at the same time, I want to have these discernment, right? I want to use wisdom in, the things that God has me doing and everything like that. Like, I have no problem, right, helping people and organizations and things of that nature. But at the same time, I want to, again, use discernment and everything like that. And so with that being said, I would say that's where the inspiration came from today. I mean, yeah, I listened to the prayer meditation and all of that, but I would say, yeah, this conversation about discernment is what stood out to me the most, to look into and to share today. So here I am, y'all, chit-chatting about discernment. Do you have it? Do you need it? Well, hopefully today you'll be encouraged and inspired to, if you don't have it, get more of it. And if you need it, here's some tips of how to get it, right? So here's the verses that were standing out to me this morning. Hebrews 5:14. It says, but solid food is for the mature. I'm going to say it again. But solid food is for the mature, for those who have their powers of discernment trained by constant practice to distinguish good from evil. So, yeah, I mean, I did go deeper. I came across an article at GodQuestions.org. Clearly, y'all can go to GodQuestions.org and plug in the word discernment and, go deeper about all of this on your own. It's not in the go deeper section, but you guys can do that. I did do it as well. And one of the articles basically, reminded me, right, that this is something that I guess we need to practice, right? We need to practice discernment and things of that nature. Now, some people are gifted, right, with certain, gifts and whatnot, spiritual gifts to, see things or, be aware of certain things of that nature. But, I mean, outside of that, practicing discernment is, I believe, a wise skill, Again, I feel like, I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful for the wisdom that the Lord has bestowed upon me. I would say over the past few months, I feel like there's been like a exercisation. I know I just made that word up, but like I feel like I've been exercising not only my faith but discernment, and especially how to like approach situations and certain stuff. So I'm thankful for it, and things like that. I'm not even necessarily fully bothered by the different scenarios. I do, again, wonder about people and their motives and things of that nature, but I've always just kind of been curious about that side of people. Who knows if that comes from, again, I guess, portraying people for a living, right, as an actor and things of that nature. For me, I've always been kind of curious about, like, people and why they do what they do and say what they say and things of that nature. I mean, obviously, assuming that there's always a reason, right, for certain actions and things of that nature. Now, maybe that may not always be true. Maybe people, just got, evil intentions, evil minds, things like that. And they're just working in wickedness of X, Y, and Z. I mean, that's an option, or that's something that can happen. But on the flip side, I mean, I would think that majority of the time we do things, right, for a reason, or we say things for a reason, right? Maybe someone is guarded in their life because of past trauma, right? Maybe someone is the opposite because, maybe they haven't experienced certain stuff. So, it's just one of those things to think about when it comes to, like, again, why do people do what they do? But regardless of that, right, using discernment and knowing how to handle these things in a Christ-like manner is important, because again, it's one of these things that, again, exploitation and all these things is things that are going to just be here, and we can't point the finger at God and be like, well, Lord, why are you allowing it to happen to me? It's because of us, right, and our unrepentant hearts and things of that nature. So how do we get the wisdom, right? Well, I mean, the Bible's very clear about how you get wisdom, y'all. We seek it from the Lord. We get the wisdom from the Lord. You pray for the wisdom. You get into the word to receive the wisdom. I mean, I hate to sound like I'm always trying to simplify stuff here, but I mean, or making it seem like, oh, it's just so like, why ain't you getting it or something like that? But it's my question that I've asked myself over the years as well. Like, why haven't I gotten it, right? Why did it take me so long to get it? And things of that nature. It's just that simple. According to the Bible now, it's just that simple. You need wisdom, go to the Lord to receive the wisdom. He has all the wisdom anyway. He knows everything. So go to him, right, for the wisdom. And then again, if you need to build your discernment, it needs to be practiced. That's what that first verse is telling me today. So 1 John 4:1, it says, Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Well, there you go. You know, at the end of the day, you'll know them by their fruit. You know, and it can get difficult, right? Especially when people portray to be good, right? When people are, you know, putting themselves out there as, you know, I'm a quote unquote angel of light. But this is what Satan do, right? He presents himself as, you know, maybe godly, righteous, all these different things, but then you'll see right behind the scenes, if you read between the lines, as they say like that, or if you use your discernment and seek the Lord for the wisdom, then you will start to see what the truth is, you know, and everything like that. Like I said, y'all know that I've been going back and forth over the years, and I wrote this blog about it and everything in regards to giving. And like I just said a moment ago, I have no issue with giving to individuals, giving to organizations, giving to causes, whatever the case is that I feel led to give to. I think where the issue comes in for me when it comes to giving is feeling exploited, right? Or feeling like someone is trying to use my empathy, or maybe being a Christian or whatever it is, right, against me. Like, it doesn't feel good. And I've been, you know, seeking the Lord, right, about what to do about that, because there are verses in the Bible that tells us very plainly, if someone asks, give X, Y, and Z. But then when I also look at the disciples, right, and someone asked them for money, they clearly told the gentleman, we don't have money, right? Gold and silver I don't have for you, but what I do have is what I'm going to give. And he gave the man, you know, being able to walk X, Y, and Z. And so, you know, so between seeing those things, right, we have to use discernment about what to do and what to give in situations and things of that nature. And so, you know, I thank God again for the wisdom that he's given me, because I feel like even with the recent thing, and again, I don't feel led to go deep with y'all about it, but I will say that I feel like what happened with me in the midst of the situation is that the more I use discernment, right, and test the spirits, right, you know, the Lord was giving me wisdom on like what to say and to do. And at some point, you know, basically, I felt right the need, and I felt led to let it be known that I'm going to do things decent and in order, right? And that would be things like, for example, consulting with my husband, you know what I mean? Things like talking to the ministry that I'm under and things of that nature, and seeing what can be done, possibly on a larger scale, rather than me, you know, allowing, right, someone to manipulate me or to, you know, exploit me or anything of that nature. Especially again, when God gives me the wisdom or insight into the situation beyond their words, right? And so I think again, using discernment and testing the spirits is again another way to exercise, right? And to be able to again build our discernment up. And again, see, that's why all of this stuff is important. We often question, why do we gotta go to church? Why is you don't have you? I literally just saw a post this morning with somebody sharing that they, you know, obviously they don't feel the need to go. And the thing is, you know, the Bible tells us, don't forsake our fellowship, X, Y, and Z. So I mean, you know, there is, you know, there's a lot of reasons we should go. But see, again, now, how would I have known, right, to be able to say, hey, no, I'm going to use wisdom in this situation. I'm not a single woman, right, and I am covered, you know what I'm saying, in regards to marriage, and I understand what the order should be, right? It should be God, it should be my husband, and it should be me, you know what I'm saying? And things of that nature, at least in the way I handle things in life, you know what I'm saying? And so wisdom, right, allowed me to be able to address the situation head on. Let it be known that I understand the word of God, right? Let it be known that I'm going to do things according to that. And I'm going to seek wise counseling and things like that. I'm not going to be quick, right? I'm not going to be making rash decisions about situations and things like that. Not to be like, I don't care and things like that. But on the flip side, you know, we have to be wise. Like, there was a lady over the weekend, a few weekends ago, when I don't know if y'all remember when I did the event for the prayer tower, and I met a lady there, and she was at some point we were just talking and everything like that. I was first, I was encouraging and whatnot, and then we just kind of talked a little bit outside of that. And at some point she mentioned, I can't remember what got us to the conversation, but she mentioned like basically she learned a lesson to make sure her cup was filled, right, and then to be able to bless those, bless others with the overflow. And I felt like there was so much wisdom and power in that because, again, you know, like I say all the time, even when I refer to unwind self-care and things of that nature, it's like, we can't pour from empty glasses. And at the same time, there's a lot of us that try to do that, right? We know that, for example, we're not in the place to take on other people's everything, right? But then we try our best to be everything for others. And then there's nothing for us and we find ourselves depleted. Now, yes, there's a time and place to help, right? There's a time and place to, use our gifts and talents or whatever the case is. Everything should be used to the glory and honor of God. I get all that. But at the same time, I do feel like there's balance as well. Like God don't want us out here, there's responsibilities that we have as well, right? To our households, families, communities and things of that nature. So yeah, there's a lot to work that needs to be done in our personal with ourselves as well as with our families and everything like that in our own communities and things. So there is a beautiful thing to be able to help beyond that as well and do things beyond that as well. And I believe that we're all called to do so. And as we receive, we give and things like that. The more you give, the more that's given to you. I do believe all of that. But at the same time, I do believe that, there's wisdom in making sure, right, that you're covered, you're in everything like that, and giving beyond when you have to give, and not like, unless you're giving to the Lord. And I mean, obviously, I guess you can give your last because He's going to multiply it or whatever the case is. But just using wisdom, y'all, just using wisdom and discernment and everything like that. Testing the spirits is just something that, again, it's just important and whatnot. And again, so with that, right, getting into the word, I've already said that, but see, again, you got to get into it to know the weapons you have against the enemy. So that's just something we got to do. And then having your covering. If you are single or X, Y, and Z, maybe you don't have the covering of a husband, right? But you can have the covering of a mentor or leadership or your church and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously you should have your father and mother if you have good ones and things like that. You have coverings, right? And you have ways to, just use wisdom, So that's why it's important to fellowship, right? That's why it's important to get into a church. Not just, obviously it's important for us to come together and, being, again, iron, sharpening iron and coming together as fellowship, X, Y, and Z. But it's important to, again, have the covering. I hope I made that clear, but, there it is. So anyway, John 7:24. It says, do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. Looks can be deceiving, as they say, everything might not be squeaky clean or on the up and up. Now, will all things work together for the good of those that love God? Yes, I believe that. And yes, I believe I'm living proof of that. Because even things that, may be shaky or whatever the case is has worked out for my benefit for whatever reasons. And I say, again, it's all to the glory and honor of God and everything like that. But aside from that, what I'm saying is, we can't be judging things by appearances only. Let's use wisdom, right? Let's seek the Lord for the wisdom. Let's seek the Lord, for the counsel. Let's seek our mentors and things of that nature to get the edified and everything like that. The coverings that we have. Don't just judge it by appearances, y'all, because people can easily manipulate and just show you what they want you to see. And we just got to be, again, we just got to use discernment. That's all. Again, all of us are capable of evil. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, this person is so bad over that person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying let's use wisdom and discernment. That's all I'm saying. Do what you're supposed to do, whatever it is. You know, if it's God's will for you to sow or whatever the case is, then do that. If it's not God's, if you not feeling like it's God's will, whatever the case is, not just about feelings, but if you don't feel led, right, to do it, then I guess don't do it, and seek the counsel or whatever you need to do. Again, that's why, again, it's so important when it comes to discernment and figuring out and allowing the Lord to show you what his will is regarding each situation and every situation. I got another verse for y'all. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:21. It says, but test everything, hold fast what is good. So again, everything might not be for you, right? I was thinking about that this morning. Like, you know, there's plenty of like prophets out there, right? There's plenty of, you know, ministries and, you know, all kinds of things. And they're giving messages. Some are conflicting messages and everything like that, right? And you may be wondering like, well, what is right? What is true? X, Y, and Z. Well, one, again, this is why it's also important to get into the word for yourself, right? You can listen to somebody all day long. You can listen to me. You can listen to the pastor. You can listen to all these people all day long. And if we saying the wrong thing to you and you just going off of that, you can find yourself like these individuals I was speaking of yesterday, where they telling us what they think the Bible say, and you like, man, as somebody that reads the Bible, I don't see that. You know, and then things like that happens and stuff. But anyway, that's another conversation. Let's get back to the one we having in regards to you know, holding fast to what is good. Like sometimes, again, like they say, you know, when you take something in, you know, keep the meat and spit out the bones. You know what I mean? Like again, and maybe again, everything may not be for you. Maybe every message may not be for you in this particular season. Maybe you're just getting some wisdom ahead of time or something like that. So, you know, that's what I'm receiving when I read that verse today, you know, and everything. Yeah, testing everything and holding fast to what is good. But I think the last verse that I have to share in regards to this juice this morning is Proverbs 18:15. It says, an intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. So, I mean, friends, I know there's a lot of, you know, ideas out there. You know, there's a lot of people that are in leadership positions and, you know, words and everything like that. I believe that overall, if you're going to seek wisdom and things of that nature, then the wisdom that we need to be really seeking is the wisdom that comes from God. You can go through to him through prayer. You can hear from him through his word directly. You know, because of what Jesus did, we have direct contact with the Lord and, you know, the Lord again. So we don't have to depend on, for example, the priest or anything like that, right? To only talk to God and give us the message. You know, you have direct contact with God through Jesus and what he did. So because of that, right, because the word is readily available to us in a variety of ways, thanks to the majority, you know, sorry, Lord, I'm trying to figure out what he's saying to me. Through the multiple, right, or the plethora of ministers and people that he's allowed to create and do things in this world on his behalf. There's a lot of ways to get access to the word right now. Apps, physical Bibles, websites, all kinds of things. So there's no excuse, right, to not be into the word. So that's one thing. Prayer, obviously, even if you never got a Bible, you can always pray. We should always be praying anyway. You know, and ask him for the wisdom directly. And I mean, I don't have to give you no special prayer, friend. All you got to say is, Lord, give me wisdom, if you don't say nothing else. Like, I mean, you know, if you want the wisdom and knowledge, you should be seeking it. And the one I believe, again, that we should focus on seeking it from is the Lord. Because at the end of the day, there was something else that I was coming across this morning, and I guess this will be my wrap up right now in regards to this conversation, is that understanding that the Lord's wisdom is above our own. And sometimes his wisdom don't look like wisdom to those that call themselves wise here, you know. And so it looks like foolishness, right? But on the flip side, we don't have to worry about any of that because he's the creator of all things. And so, you know, that's ultimately the juice this morning. He has the wisdom, the knowledge, and everything like that. And he can give you the gift of discernment. Practice it. Build it up because we're going to need it. And that's ultimately the juice, y'all. That's the juice. Now, listen, the Bible verse of today is Ephesians 4:2. It says, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.